So hi Ben, thanks for joining me tonight.
Hi Jess, no worries at all.
So this is the second interview with the supervisors that I'm doing. So we're going to hit it off with how have you been and what have you been up to whilst basketball has been not around?
Well, I've only just realised now how much time basketball took up in my life. The junior domestic, senior domestic, VJBL, Big V, it all sort of added up. And when they took it all away at once, I realised how much free time I had. But I've been working full time from home at the moment, which has taken up a large chunk of my time, which has been good. But I've had to get a bit creative with the rest of the time. There's a few puzzles and a bit of Lego in the back of the closet, which I've had to dust off. So that's kept me busy for the meantime.
That's good. How good
I've been watching it actually. I'm not quite as good as them, but
we're not straight off topic. So talk me through your journey in becoming a leader at the branch.
Well, when I first started at VBRA Knox, I didn't really see myself following that sort of leadership type role. When I first started, I was more the person to, get in, ref my games, get out. I wasn't really someone that interacted too much with anybody. I was probably a bit shy to start off with. It's probably sort of turned around when the A grade school process began. You sort of interact more with the people at your own level, and you get a lot of the executives talking you through a few different things. It sort of gave me a lot of confidence. And then, from there, as I continued to progress as a referee and sort of invest in the branch, I thought it'd be a good time, 2 years ago now, maybe three years ago, that I felt comfortable to give back to the branch and help out our younger officials. I felt it's helped my own refereeing as well. When you're supervising, you see lots of different plays and situations. So it makes you think about what you do yourself in that situation. So it's good for me to talk through some of our younger officials, how we work through that. And then it helps me when I'm out on court myself, knowing that I've seen that play before.
Yeah, no, it is. Even being off now, we can make that, bring that into the life that we're living at the moment. The more basketball that we can get our hands on, you can put your ref hat on and, watch basketball and, say what calls you're going to do even now. I think that's really great advice for everybody, even what they can do now. So talk me through your first year of junior panel. What was some of the highlights? What do you remember?
I was in a bit of a unique situation, I think, with my junior panel. There was 4 or 5 of us who had just received our A grade but weren't yet eligible for junior panel, and we were invited to the... Sorry?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Adam just had that same conversation with me.
Oh, really? I actually wasn't sure how often it's happened at Knox, but first time I heard about it anyway. I think there was 5 of us who just received our A grade, and we were invited to the Classic the year before we were eligible to join junior panel. And it was one of those things where I was probably hesitant to join to begin with. You're a bit worried about people going, oh, what are you doing here? This guy isn't even on junior panel. I was worried about embarrassing myself. We had no idea, the sort of games I'd ref and things like that. So I ended up going to the Classic. I felt really good about it afterwards. Not just, I refed okay. It was fine. It was more just about the experience more than anything else. I think it just solidified the fact that I wanted to join junior panel the next year. I suppose my focus, throughout all my refereeing is, I've wanted to ref, the best games in the roster, Monday through Sunday, always trying to push myself to find the best games. And then this was the next step for me, joining junior panel. There's one game in particular that stood out to me. I can't remember whether it was my first or second year. I was reffing at Dandenong. It was against Knox. And Nico actually was the assistant coach at the time. And I absolutely butchered it. I felt so embarrassed walking off the court at the end of the game. It was sort of one of those games where you can go 2 ways with it. You can either, you can just kick you down and not want, make you want to ref, any more, tough quality games, or it can sort of push you to make sure, the next time you're on court, that sort of stuff doesn't happen. I've decided to take that approach. So, every time I step on court, that game sort of flashes in my head. Excuse me. I've got those, bad memories of what I've done wrong. So, I'm trying to make sure that doesn't happen, which I think is good for everyone. Sometimes, people can be scared when they step onto a high level game. They're worried, if they stuff it up, it's the end of the world. But sometimes you almost need those games. It just shows you, it gives you a good idea of what not to do, I suppose. And if you keep pushing yourself for those high-level games, the more situations you put yourself in, I think it's better for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the piece of advice that you can give is learn from your mistakes. If you keep making the mistakes and you don't take that approach that you did, is where people get a little bit undone. So I think that's really great advice. And it's not always the easiest thing stepping onto a higher level game. I still remember mine. But it is at least opening people's eyes to know that when you do take those steps forward, it is going to be daunting every time. And so how do you prepare yourself to make those mistakes? I think that's really great advice. So the next question I had is, what do you want to achieve as a ref or a supervisor going forward?
Well, this whole coronavirus thing has really put a halt on any sort of progress I wanted to make this year. I think towards the end of last Big V season, I felt I made some good progress. It was my first Big V season. I got some experience on some higher quality games, did some Div 1 men and some youth champ, which I felt really good about. So I was hoping to expand on that starting this season. Whether that's able to happen or not, we're not too sure. But I think if I'm able to keep pushing myself for those sorts of things, I suppose things in my future, level 3, hopefully, not too far away. Ultimate goal is probably going to a nationals at some point. It's probably my long-term goal. So I think if we get back to basketball nice and quickly, you can sort of get back on the road to getting towards those goals. And I think all those sorts of things can help with my supervising too. Like I've said, it's all about experience, I think, with my supervising. More situations I put myself in, both on the court and seeing while supervising, just means better quality feedback I can give to officials at Knox.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the more you're exposed to it, you're exposed to the different ways of talking through people, what works for other people and what doesn't. What works for you, how people give you feedback is also how then you pass on feedback, which is really important as well. So that's cool. So what do you reckon would be your trickiest rule that you had to learn?
Well, I always had problems early with anything to do with free throws. You had the double violations. Which team broke first? Did they both break before the free throw shooter shot the ball? Did the free throw shooter leave the foul line before the ball hit the rim? What do you do when the guy breaks from the post or he breaks from above the 3-point line? It always seems to be one of those things where you're under pressure to make a call really quickly. So it's probably just like anything else where you got more time than you think you have. You just take half a second, think through it. And it's one of those things, at the end of the game, you think back on it, you're like, oh, that was so stupid. Of course I should have, done this or done that. But it always seemed to stun me early on. So,
Beautiful. Before we part, what would be your message to everybody before we come back to basketball?
Just hang in there. We've done well so far. Progress is looking good. Basketball could be, hopefully, around the corner nice and quickly. Stay active, stay engaged. Like you said earlier, watch plenty of basketball. Good way just to keep your mind ticking over, thinking about the game. So, hopefully we see you all very soon back in Knox.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. And see you again soon. Thanks again.
Great. Thanks, Jess. See ya.